for always being part of this very interaction. And tonight, inshallah, we are looking at a very important topic with respect to love and proposal, which I think is very important in the life we are living today. So as Muslims, we do know that Islam is a divine way of life, not just an ordinary way of life. It's a package, it's a mandate from the Lord of man with regards to how man must live his life. So living life as Muslim, we know that we have a lot of things we go through in life, economically, socially, politically, spiritually. Among the social life we go through is our marital life. And Islam has clearly and lucidly explained the issue of marriage comprehensively, such that you may find it difficult to see any ideology or religion that has a clear content for marriage, as Islam has. Islam tells you in the Quran, categories of those you can never marry, prohibitions. These are categorized either through first rage or affinity or consanguinity. Some through your blood relationship, you cannot marry them. Some through marriage, you can marry them. Some through breastfeeding, you cannot marry them. They become your foster brothers. Islam talks about this. It mentions the categories you cannot marry. Islam tells you that before you marry, there are 4 basic elements of free. The wali, in other words, the father of the girl, who is the guardian, must give consent. Then the sadaq or the mahari, what the girl, the lady must have, and of course the shahada, the shahidai adli, the witnesses who are just witnesses. Then we have other things Islam mentioned: the zafaf, the walima, the akudu nikah, the sigatul akdi, the khitbah. Islam tells you all these things. Islam tells you that, okay, when you are starting the journey, you do istikhara, you kind of prayer for making choice. Beside that again, Islam tells you the first night you come in, the wife is coming to your apartment, the prayer you have to say, when you're having sexual intercourse, the prayer you have to say, and so on. And there are so many. Islam discusses all these things because it's a way of life. So tonight, we are picking just an aspect of this, which is the proposal, because these days we see a lot of things happening around us, a lot of proposals. We have the say yes proposals and the like. Islam teaches us how to marry those that we know, those that we don't know. It tells us the way to go about marrying widows or widowers, divorcees, or divorcees, virgins, or those all different ways of life. Islam tells us how to go about it. So when we say khitbah in the Sharia, khitbah is like proposal, a kind of expression of interest in a man or in a lady, because Islam believes it can come from either side. That's why there are turukul khitbah or ta'adudu turukul khitbah. That is the different ways by which a man can get to marry a woman. Because questions have been asked in the past that if Islam does not allow intermingling, does not allow seclusion, does not allow you going about with men anyhow, then how do we now see ladies or no ladies who want to marry? It's very simple. It's only because we are living in an abnormal situation where the abnormal has become the norm. We now feel that the way people do it is the right way. No, Islam has a way of going about all these things that you realize that you really know that Islam is as made a plan for everything you want to do, inshallah. So, having said that, khitbah is what the proposal is a kind of promise that I want to marry you. And proposal in Islam, which is khitbah, is just a preliminary step. It does not replace the real akdu, the real contract. Is a khutwatun tamuhidiyya, a preliminary, introductory step you take. Not exactly that. That's how it does not stand for marriage. So today, we are seeing a lot of things happening around us. We've seen cases of those who talk about, what do you call it now? Say yes proposal. So is it allowed in Islam? It's very clear that Islam can never allow such. How could a man just from the blues just come around and kneel down, bring down a ring and say that you should just put your finger inside and say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes. Such a marriage is anti-Islamic philosophy. In the first place, are we sure the man is not doing a strong with you, a man you have not interacted with? That's even on one side, but it looks awkward. It doesn't really look as a kind of serious thing you want to do. Besides that, just bringing a ring, kneeling down, no, then it appears it may not give you your real choice of person you want to marry. It's like a child play in a way. Then the pressure around you, those around you say yes, say yes. The pressure on you. When they say yes and you agree to their yes, they will not live in the world of marriage with you. You'll be alone there. So when that's their yes, when you enter, you realize that you did not plan for what you embark upon. So in Islam, that kind of proposal has no basis at all. Besides that, we are seeing a growing trend on our campuses these days, what they call campus couple or CC, as in Korea, or campus marriage. This one too, where is it coming from? As far as we're concerned as Muslims, this kind of approach, marriage as obtainable, is haram in the sense that it does not fulfill the requirement of marriage in Islam. In the first place, in most cases, parents are not in the know. And once your parents are not in the know, especially your father, that marriage is null and void. So any relationship you embark upon, even for starting it, before you even start, you are meant to have communicated your father. If you start the journey and there's no way it says no, then it's no may have to stay unless there's a very, very more powerful ground for him to shift his ground. So that kind of campus marriage, parents are not aware. Number two is that it could be male, that's a kind of gay, homosexuals or lesbians, or male, female, whereby you see a male will pack to a, especially those who are off campus, will pack and go and be living with a lady, or a lady at time will pack and be living with the man. They will living as husband and wife, cooking, eating together. They will claim they are studying together. It has several implications for them. Besides that, also, it can lead to poor academic performance. It can lead to a mental health problem, because on the long run, some will say they want to stay together to know each other. Then in the future, they will marry. In most cases, they end up not marrying each other because the way they started it was wrong. So at the long run, you see the man be travel out before he knows he's marrying somebody else. That means the girl has been used and dumped. So that one too, we see it happening on several campuses, whereby people just what do they just want to get married, and that's very one too. Now, when we now look at these situations as Muslims, what is the provision of Islamic law, of Islamic Sharia in fiqh on how to go about this issue of proposal as far as we're Muslims? We are in schools, we are in colleges. You see a brother you love, you see a sister you love, or the other way. How do you approach the girl? How do you approach the brother? How do you get settled on how to go about your marriage? In this provision of Islamic records, we have several approaches to marriage, which we call al-khutwatul tamuhidiyya lizawaj. The first one we have in records is one of the ways by which proposal is done in Islam is al-khitibati and tariqi ahli al-mar'a. You can marry a lady, a sister you love, you feel, because the love is not a requirement for proposal. There are times you marry, we're coming to that too. Proposal does not mean you love the person initially. Factors which may make you propose to a lady vary, is in different ways. At times you'll be al-mailu al-qalbi wal-hub. Just love does come in. That could be. At times it could be just that. So it's a righteous person, you want to marry him. We'll come to that, inshallah. Factors that can make one to want to propose to somebody. So we're talking about the Islamic methods of proposal. So any of these methods you employ, you are good to go as far as Islam is concerned. The first one is through the family of the lady. In this case now, if you see Sister Rahima and you feel you want to marry her, what do? You can go about it by informing a family member. In the case of Aisha, radiyallahu anha, we have the record. Prophet Salam married Aisha. You remember that Aisha was daughter to Prophet's very good friend, a companion named Abu Bakr. How did it happen? Prophet did not just go to Aisha. There was a woman called Khawla bint Hakim. She was the wife of Uthman bin Mad'un. She was the one that Prophet ﷺ sent to Ruman. Ruman was Aisha's mom. So when Prophet sent her to send Ruman, so send Khawla bint Hakim to Ruman that he wants to marry Aisha. Then when she got to that very level, she went to Ruman and she told him that Prophet want to marry her daughter. And how did she do it? She got to the house and said that Prophet has sent me. When she entered the house of Abakri was not at home. She saw Ruman, Aisha's mother. She said, Ya Ruman, ماذا أدخل الله عليكم من الخير والبركة. Oh, see the approach of presenting the proposal. Oh, Ruman, what a kind of blessing, mercy has come to your house. So she now asked, what could that be? قلت أرسلني رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أخطب عليه عائشة. Prophet sent me to speak that he wants to marry Aisha. قالت Ruman, she now said, وددت لو تنتظرين أبا بكر. I wish you just wait for Abu Bakr to come so that, being the father of the girl, فإنه آتي. It just not very long. Abu Bakr was just coming and he just entered the place. She repeated what he said before. Ya Abu Bakr, ماذا أدخل الله عليكم من الخير والبركة. See what a good thing, what a blessing has brought to your house. Then she now told him that Prophet has sent him to him. Bakr now said that وهل تصلح لي إنما هي بنت أخيه. Will it be right that he marries the daughter of his brother? When Ruman had that very one, فرجعت, she went back to the Prophet and told him what Abu Bakr said. He now said, ارجعي إليه, go back to him. فقولي له, and tell him, أنت أخي في الإسلام. You are my brother in Islam. وأنا أخوك, and I'm your brother. وبنتك تصلح لي. Your wife is lawful to me. When she went back, she told Abu Bakr this. Abu Bakr now asked her that integrity, please wait, hold on. Wakharaja, he now went out. Where did he go? Abu Bakr now went to Mutabun Adi. There was another person who was being that very name that very time. When he got to that very one, because Mutam has spoken that, has told Abu Bakr before that, he wants his own son Jubair to marry Aisha. That has come before Prophet's proposal. So when he now, and Abu Bakr has promised Mutam that he's going to marry her to him, we call it kind of betrothal that time. Then Abu Bakr were told that for Allah, that when Abu Bakr promises anybody, he will make sure he doesn't break the promise. So he now went, when he got there, he now saw the Mutam and the wife, they were there. Then he told them that, he went out and asked them that, how about the issue of marrying Aisha? When he saw him, then what do you have to say about my daughter Aisha? Then Mutam looked at his wife and said that she should make a response. Then I said that, لَأَلَّنَا إِنْ أَنْكَحَنَا هَذَا الْفَتَى. If we marry Jubair, our son, to Aisha, whose father has become a Muslim, and by implication to Aisha to become a Muslim, if we should marry our son to them, to be, it's possible that she will cause, but the meaning is that it will afflict their own son with Islam. The Islam has affliction, that if you should marry our daughter to him, he will afflict her with his This is musibah faliyadhu billah. And he will make him to enter the religion. The Bakri now went to the Mutam too. He asked him, how about you? What do you say about the case? You have heard what you want to say. So by that, Abakri now went back and said yes for Aisha's proposal. So that is a method of proposal, going through a member of the family to inform that you want to marry. In this case now, Prophet sent Khawla bint Hakim to go to the family, and she met the father, she met the wife before even meeting Aisha. That is number one, you have to know there. Besides, number two, also, we have Al-Khit, and of course, Umar too. We recall the case of Umar too, who in his own case also, prophets proposed to marry, but through was the father, through Umar himself. Second one type is al-khitbatu an tariq al-hadith al-mubashir ma al-mar'a. Another method is to propose directly, that you want to marry the woman. We have the case of Salama. She said that Prophet sent Hatib ibn Abalta'a to her, yaktubuni lahu, speaking, telling her about the mind of the Prophet to marry her. Then she now told him, I have a daughter, I'm a jealous person, and so on and so forth. Prophet said that as for the issue of your heart, Allah will take care of that. And as for your son, Allah will, daughter, Allah will take care of her. So he went, that proposal was done through somebody as a kind of an intermediary also. And beside that very one again, we have cases like that in Syria that people went through somebody to marry. So, okay, through the, directly, I want this girl able to go and talk to her. That will happen to in Syria of Islam that very way too. Then we have the case of Anas. But we're told that when Abu Talha ibn Sulaim said, well, that time there was a lady in India, Abu Talha there was an unbeliever. Sulaim faqalat. She now told him, this is a woman now proposing to a man. Meanwhile, that time, Abu Talha was an unbeliever. She now said, Wallahi, when Abu Talha approached her in this case, now Abu Talha proposed to her that he wants to marry her. She now replied that, Wallahi, ma mithiluka ya Abu Talha yuraddu. Oh, Abu Talha, not a man like you will want to reject. وَلَكِنَّكَ رَجُلٌ كَافِرٌ. You are not believer. That's just the problem you have. وَأَنَا امْرَأَةٌ مُسْلِمَةٌ. I am a Muslim. وَلَا يَحِلُّ لِي أَنْ أَتَزَوَّجَكَ. It's not lawful for me to marry you. فَإِن تَسْلِمْ فَذَاكَ. If you can become Muslim, مَهَرِي وَمَا أَسْأَلُكَ غَيْرَهُ. If you just can marry me, that will be my dowry, my mahari. فَأَسْلَمَ فَكَانَ ذَلِكَ مَهْرُهَا. And she embraced Islam, and that was a marriage in Nausai. But that's fiqh today. It has a different application with regards to the kind of people we have today. 3, another approach to proposal is Walidul Fatat, the father of the girl, the father of Halima, the father of Zainab, the father of Ruqayya, or a member of the family will now present, her for somebody to marry. In this case, we have a case whereby, we'll say a case of Hafsa in this case now, Umar, when Hafsa's husband died, that was Khaniz ibn Huthab as-Sahmi. When he died, Umar approached Abu Bakr that he should marry his daughter. He first approached Uthman. Uthman, make a kind of way to reject that. I don't have any interest for that. It's made a statement like that. We went to Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr don't make any comments. But later, Prophet Salam proposed and he married Hafsa. Then Abu Bakr now went to him again and told him that, as you probably were angry when you proposed, when you told me about your daughter and did not answer you. The anger, it was because I was aware Prophet mentioned Hafsa and I was there and I didn't want to. I don't want to expose the secret of the Prophet. That will happen, that respect. That one too was another model of marriage. The father had the right to get his husband for his daughter. Then also we have another proposal method. الرجل يخطب المرأة من كبير القوم. that you propose to marry a woman through one of the elders in the family or the tribe. This one too, we have that there was a case of somebody whereby to say Rasulullah, a woman came to the Prophet one day. That Ya Rasulullah, the Prophet she came and said, Ya Rasulullah. Now she told the Prophet that the Prophet should marry her. Then the Prophet looked at her up and down. He did not show any interest. Then they say a particular companion stood up and said, Ya Rasulullah, إِلَمْ يَكُنْ لَكَ بِهَا حَاجَةٌ فَزَوِّجْنِيهَا. If you don't have interest in her, marry me out to her. فَقَالَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ اذْهَبْ. Then go. فَقَدْ مَلَكْتُكَهَا. بِمَا مَعْكَ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ. The story goes a bit short like that. That person said that I marry because the man was out to go and get the dowry. He went, he could not get anything. Eventually, the man has said he has memorized some part of the Quran. Based on that, he was married to the lady. That happened to Prophet Islam was one who married her out. So this is applicable to, we have organizations whereby people could be missionary about it, because training a lady, a girl, is not an easy task. So we have organized community, they train their children, they train their sisters, then they could apply that through the leaders, through the imams of such organization. When the parents are still alive, their consent of God will be very, very, very necessary, because people cannot act like the prophet today, because prophet is not like any other human being. So that is about that. Then also, we have another model whereby somebody who is elderly, this sheikh, this ustad, the imam, can marry for his own members. That one too is a model. Prophet Salam married for Osama bin Zaid when she was to marry a woman. There was a case of people had options of marrying her. That was Fatima bin Qais. To Abraham bin Auf proposed, other people proposed, but eventually Prophet married her to Usama. That one too is another proposal method. And another interesting one, fascinating one, was that of Julaybi. Julaybi was a companion who was dwarf, who was not too handsome, and they could not even trace his family. Prophet Salam married a woman for him. He told the father was from Ansari, that he wants to marry a daughter to Julaybi. I've never seen the girl. That's another thing you have to know there. So he now told the father that I want to marry your daughter to Julaybi. Julaybi is someone that nobody wants to even marry him because of his look, his everything. So the man said, Prophet, let me tell my wife first, because his heart was equally disturbed that why Julaybi of all people, and they have a very beautiful daughter. When he got to the wife and she told the wife, she just could not just accept it that no. The girl was inside. She heard what they were saying. She now told them that, oh, my parent, will you reject the offer of the Prophet of Allah? So just come up to him and ask that if he is pleased with the person he wants to marry her to, they should be pleased with that. So that was the only request then eventually made, that in Roditahu Lana, Rodinahu. If you're happy with the person, and of course, this kind of marriage, there was a kind of an incident that happened. People rushed to the place to rescue, and before you know, Julaybi died in that incident. Could not even become the husband of the wife. And from reports, according to Anas bin Malik, that فَمَرَأَيْتُ بِالْمَدِينَ ثَيِّبًا أَنْفَقَ مِنْهَا, that he never saw a kind of a widow in Medina that people spend so much on, because everybody was just trooping, I want to marry this girl, I want to marry this girl, and so on and so forth. That was another method of marriage. Another one was that a woman can on her own feel that this is a righteous person, I want to marry him. She can present herself to the person. Like we have the case of a companion woman going to the Prophet and say, Rasulullah, I like a bee hajj. Would you like to marry me? She went to the Prophet. Prophet, that was the Prophet of Allah, whom, of course, was not like ordinary human being. That was the case when another man said that you should marry her, you should marry her to him. Then the seventh one we have mentioned for today is the case of what they call at-ta'rid bil-khitbah zaman al-idda, Ida. So when a woman is in a period of Ida, especially if the husband has died, in Islam, one should not propose marriage for them directly, but Islam has a way of doing that, that when she's in an Ida period, you can say it in a different way that, okay, you go to greet her, please, you are so beautiful. You can't say more than that. You can't make proof that you want to marry you. So when you made the signal, you are giving a kind of signal, or that when you want to get married, let me know about it. That one too is another model there. That was a case of Sukaina going to Handala. So when she was in a Ida period, then Ali, Abu Ja'far Muhammad bin Ali bin Hussein went to her. Upon at Handala, oh daughter of Handala, and I know you know me very well. أنا من علمت القرابة أنا, you know me, you know my family members. I'm the Prophet family, and you know my father, you know my grandfather, you know my, you know that we're in Islam. When she now said that, the one that said, Ya Aba Ja'far, may Allah forgive you, Abu Ja'far. أتخطبني في عدة وأنا يؤخذ عنك? Are you proposing to me while I'm in my Ida period, and you are somebody who's teaching people the Islam? فقال how could he فعلتي? Who? You, this woman, you are the one actually proposing to me now. I never mentioned marriage. You are the one talking about marriage to me now. I just told you about my family connections and so on and so forth. That was the method he used there, and that one is allowed in the Bible. So these are some of the methods, as you mentioned, about several proposal methods of Islam in Islam. So anyone we are thinking of this method is applicable so far the context is suitable for it. But today, as we are on our campuses, in our colleges, in our environment, how do you go about it? One, the issue of early marriage is another topic on its own, which has its own dimensions. So the ideal thing is, on campus, see a brother you love, will appreciate that you probably, it is an organized society, you can have a kind of organized way of doing it. Because it's always good we protect our emotions. There are times, just for example, maybe about 7, it's possible I think a lady maybe so cute, handsome, beautiful like that maybe 3, 5 brothers may want to die for her. So there's no organized situation, it can cause problem. So if it's coordinated, okay, there's somebody in charge, you can meet through that person, it cannot be coordinated. So that will save interest, protect interest. But in the case where everybody just free, it's Shefa Jelila, Ablago Jelila, Ibrahim Jelila, Abu Yakub Jelila, so they like to come and have problem. What's happening? This brother have no job again. Everybody just coming to me. So that may be a problem. But if it's coordinated, then she may not know how many suitors were there. They will just narrow it down and see the one that's most suitable for her, and that will just move her. That will not even, but it will make her be more balanced and stable than just this one coming, that one coming. She may even be confused at a point. And of course, brothers too, they all know that they all going like that. It can create a problem. However, there are some ethics Islam teaches when it comes to issue of a proposal during marriage. Among those ethics is number one, Islam says that la yaqtubul ahadun ala khitbati akhihi. Once your brother has proposed to a lady, you know, a business principle too. When someone is already buying something and has not concluded his transaction, you are not meant to go there and because you are richer than the person and buy the something. So in proposal too, once a brother has expressed interest in a sister that is very clear, you should not go to the same person again unless the person maybe his luck or whatever is not working out, or it permits you. Maybe he's proposing, the girl has not given any consent, he has tried, she has not said yes, and you feel that you go to the brother, this lady too, I have interest in her. So because the interest may be somewhere else, why you think she loves you at times? Lady may be so close to you at times, not because she loves you, but just kind of natural human interaction. But you just feel like this girl, the way she's doing, she loves me. Then before you know, when you now try to propose, you realize that you are far from what she was having in her mind. So when such a man permits, then women go for that kind of a proposal. That is one of the ethics in Islamic proposal. You don't have to, play smart over your brother. Another ethic you have to note is that when you now propose, the proposal is such that you just think, how do you go about the proposal? The first thing is that when you have the instinct just coming to your mind that you feel like this sister, you have a feeling towards that, you feeling that you love her, the next thing to do is to do istikhara. Istikhara, now you do it as told by the prophet. Okay, you just do the khara, the Allahumma nasakhiruka bi ilmika wa bi qudratika, and to the end of that istikhara. So the moment you just have a feeling towards a person, you just make the first thing to do is to do istikhara. If you do istikhara by subuhi and propose by Salatul Duha, it's not like you do istikhara and give it like 2 days, 1 week, 1 month. No. If you look at the content of istikhara, is seeking guidance. Allahumma inni astakhiruka bi ilmika. I seek your choice, ya Allah. And wa astakhiruka bi qudratika. I see your power, your ability to decide, ya Allah. Wa as'aluka min fadlika. Allah asks you for the best you can ever give as a bounty. Wa innaka taqdiru wal aqdiru. You are powerful. You are able. I'm nobody. I'm so incapable to do anything of this kind of situation. You know this sister, you know this brother. I don't know him. Where he's coming from? How you know him? Allah. So Allah, you know his secret, you know his past, you know where she was coming from, you know where she will happen in the future too. Allahumma in kuta'lam and hadha al-amru. Allah, I want to make a decision about my future, about my life. This brother, this sister, Allah, you know the better. If this brother, if this sister be good for me in my life and the year to come, because the two are important. It can be good for you in this very life and show a hereafter. It can be, other ways you pray for the goodness. Allah, make the best choice for me and make it easy for me. If you know this sister, this brother is an evil for me. If we marry together, we have health issues. If you marry, we have emotional issues. If we marry, we have other things that will destroy or cause problem. Then Allah, I pray, fasrufuhu anni wasrufuni anhum. Make her be away from my way. Let her be away from my way. And that is the prayer Islam taught us to say about istikhara. When that's the moment the thought comes to your mind that you want to marry this sister, you have to just make istikhara. After istikhara, we advise you that you do istishara, consult people, then you propose using any of these methods we have mentioned. In organized community, you go through the leadership, where there's just an environment that at time maybe abroad, you are in Canada and no community there, just a sister, I just feel this Muslim person, then you have to approach her yourself, make your intention very clear after you've done your istikhara. That one too is another aspect of ethics we have to note when it comes to issue of marriage. Then, when you are now you're proposing a lady now, what's the next thing to do? There's some ethics you have to observe. We have said that al-khitiba, itiba is not akdu. It's just you have expressed a kind of promise that I want to marry you. Then, the next thing to do is what? You have to be relating like with the person like al-ajnabi. It's not a maharam. So like an ajnabi is someone who's a distant person to you. He's not yet your husband. That's why you have to be very careful when you propose. You don't just start living as if all is well. No, there could still be factors that will separate. So you have to still maintain a level of decorum, ethic-wise as a Muslim. So during the khitbah, then you don't start meeting her anyhow. You don't meet her in the secret place. You don't. In fact, it's recommended that you only meet her in the presence of a mahram. Anywhere to meet her, maybe in the mosque open space like that, not just let us meet have a hangout at the Lekki, whatever. Now, when you have not even concluded the action, so that one is not recommended at all. Then also there could be room for you to give gifts in the khitbah period. Tahadu, tahabba. So give gifts and it will increase what? You will love one another the more. That one too is some of the ethics you observe in proposal stage. Now, proposal stage has its own risk. If you don't have Islamic culture is to realize that proposal stage is not the akdu. Akdu comes when the father has clearly permitted that you can marry my daughter. She is now your wife. And you and the lady too, you settle the issue of mahar, that I'm collecting so and so. Fine. The third one is that Shahide Adele. It does not end with the father because at time it could want to retract. It does not end with two of you. There should be witnesses, at least two. With that very one, you are good to go. You get the point now. So, but in a case the father is not aware, you have no right to touch the girl, even not her finger, not just to even shake hand with her. You don't have the right until the father has permitted. And this is protecting the ladies. Because many men are some men are terrible, just pick you, just a testosterone. All those campus marriages they are doing is testosterone for evil. So that you have to note in the course of the proposal, you must avoid being in seclusions, being alone. There should be no fornication, there should be no sex, there should be no romance, there should be no all these things you do, kisses, all respect, whatever. You don't have the right for those. If you think you want to enjoy those things, then you fast track your marriage, you do this right thing, and she becomes your wife. After all, you don't have to get the whole world down to a big hall before marriage. Just something simple, and you move on. In the course of your proposal now, what should be your thinking about the person you want to marry? As far as the Muslim is concerned, al-Islamu wal-khuluqu awwalan. Let it always be real. I say real because these days we just quote, we decorate our inner intention with it's because of Islam. But in that, the underpinning in your mind is materialism. If you make Islam the background, the basis, the fountain, the nucleus of your decision, it's hardly you will have problem in the future because you will see the person from the point of view of deen. If when it's becoming wrong, your intention will bail you out. You can tell, your Allah, you know this man or this woman. My reason for accepting is because of you. You can tell Allah, you can pray to Allah with that very tone. But in the case, this man, the wealth is there, the money is there, opportunity for travel abroad is there, so and so. These are your factors, the beauty, everything. Then it's not those things are not haram, but we are saying that as Muslim, let character, let Islam be your background. That's very, very important. Prophet cautioned that he advised that he said you should wash where you dump your sperm. This is a point we have to note as men. You can't just pick any woman from the blues that we've seen a woman. At time you pick a gene, you will not even know you pick a gene. At this Ibn Majah, be choice, make a choice, right choice of the person you pour your sperm. Then, a one parent that إِذَا خَطَبَ إِلَيْكُمُ مَنْ تَرَضَوْنَ دِينَهُ. If a man who's is, mashallah, brother in Islamic practice comes to you to marry your daughter and is good character, let him marry your daughter. Don't send him away. If you don't do that, there'll be evil in the land, and of course, Obasadun Arid, and there'll be spread of mischief in the land. Just in Tirmizi of Hadith, we saw the people, the case of Jaloibib, and mentioned the other time. So these and many more are some of the things we need to know about proposal in Islam. Now, we have a proposal on who to marry, how to go about it. I did mention that it's not every time that love will come before hitba. It can just be a case that, okay, this person, you just have a leaning toward the person. And that very one, we have a case that happened because it can be that just have a kind of leaning towards the person. So it happened that Ibn Abbas reports that a man came to the Prophet. He had a yatima, an orphan staying with him. And this orphan now loves a man, Rajulun Mu'udim, a man who was poor, who was destitute, and while he proposes to the girl, while Rajulun Mu'sir, a man who is comfortable, has level of rich, wealth, and here Tahwa ila Tahwa al-Muhdim wa nahnu nahwa al-Mu'sir. The girl wants the poor person, the family wants the rich man. God now said that they prefer that this orphan. Go for a rich man and enjoy your life. The workers want the poor person. Right now, when there this scheme that lam yuro lil mutahabbaini mithl nikah. It's not about money. If two persons have loved each other, nothing should stop them than to let them marry each other as far as Islam is concerned. That's one to we saw it in a very respect. That's so that we should be careful of when it comes to proposal and issues like that. So, my dear brothers and sisters in the deen, we should be careful as Muslims. We should know that Islamic way of life is perfect. There is no shortcuts. There's no cutting corners. Everything is in line with nature, in line with guidance, in line with how to have a peaceful life. Proposal is not do or die affair. Once the interest comes to your mind, any of these methods you can employ and you move on. Just make sure that in the your intention is straightforward and is very clear. With that very one, inshallah, you will regret any step you take. So today, practically now, how do we go about our marriages? You're a big sister, you just graduated, you finished, you done your NYSC, and you are Jew. Nobody has come to you. It's possible. Nobody comes to you, and you just feel like, what's happening to me? You start to regret that. Oh, what's happening to me that when I was in when I was when I was what is called, when I was in school, I could have just married, I could have just been like other sisters. I was thinking that it's going to be well, it's going to be good for me. But now, here I am. I don't have anybody. It's not like that. The issue is very simple, that you as a Muslim, Allah has a way of guiding his servant. So it's not for you to just say, okay, and because nobody has come to you, you now want to just draw the person. No, know that Allah has a plan. What you simply do is that look for the environment you stay. That's why one should have we should have those a group you belong. It's part of social and national life. You have a people must belong somewhere. Those you can always interact with. So with that very interaction, we can learn a lot of things amongst ourselves. That is one method to it. So in the case you do have friends, it's not something we want to look for. Identify a scholar in the environment, an imam. You can approach. You don't have to be shy about it. It's reality of life. Go there. Tell you though at times, yeah, it's in two ways. Some you go, they take advantage. Some you go, they do the right thing. But you should have known people want to go to seeking advice, and here and there you can go to that very one. Number two, a sister who many brothers are coming to her. How does he make a choice? That one too is a function of her own value. Her own value. When they all come, they can't be the same. This one is Hanafi's, mashallah. This one is Mu'arib Arabiyu, mashallah. This one is rich, mashallah. No, this one is on a Hafiz, he's on Arabic, he's on rich, but Islamically is practical, cultured. So you should know the choice to make. If you make money your choice, that's its own implications. That could be on that side. Or a brother too feels that I need to get married, I've never committed fornication before. How do you go about it? Very, very simple. Make your dua, approach leaders or those you feel you can tell out with, let them know what you are going through. And inshallah, with that kind of, so it depends. We all have different situations on how we get married. But the point you must notice this, the hadith is clear that like Allah has decided your husband and your wife. So maybe your husband is in Cotonou, you are going to London, you come back to Cotonou. Your wife is in Australia and you're Austria. You go back to where your wife is. So that one, just make effort and Allah will be your guide and assist you. I pray to Allah in His infinite mercy to make our journey of love easy for us, because this is a mistake that if you make it, you will regret. It's not only affect you, it will affect the ummah, it will affect your children, it will affect your career. Wrong choice of husband or wife is a disaster. Take it that way. It's a disaster. Disaster for the ummah, disaster for family system, disaster for children upbringing. So it's a venture, it's a contract, it's an issue that you have to be very, very careful, and be careful of making material consideration a priority when it comes to that. I pray to Allah for those of our sisters who are looking for husbands, Allah should grant them good husbands, and those who have got one, may Allah make them friends of each other, and those who are just learning and preparing their mind, Allah should guide them at the right time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Me have your questions. If you have none, jazakumullah khairan. Shukran lakum. Barakallahu fikum. So if you have questions, you can indicate. Questions or comments you have, you're free now. All right, go ahead. Who is this person here? See your hand up. Check the name. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome.
Sir, what are the things a man should have before he start talking about marriage?
Okay, thank you very much. So a man should have his Islam first and foremost. Islam is Akida. But maybe the context you're talking of, maybe for example, a reality now. Okay, a man not just thinking I want to marry, but he must at least he should have a level of sustenance. What can take care of you and your wife? You know, at least in a way that is within your capacity. But in this case, there are 3 or 2 issues there. One is that at times somebody can be in school, you are in your final year, your 3rd year, and your peculiarity is that the environment is not friendly with you. You just feel that you will feel that you don't want to commit zina. Where parents are understanding, want you to carry them along, share your worry with your parent. This is the issue I have. And with that very one, they can understand. So parents will understand, like a book called Tahirul Mara, the author recommends that parents can come into assist. The 2 families can come together. Here's our son and daughter. They don't want to do haram. So we can help them. They can come together. We give them stipends, maybe monthly, get them where to stay. So that is a model where parents understand it's better for them than sitting and committing a zina. So even sometimes even graduated, if finished service, parents will say, no, you have to get your master's minimum. And so she girl or boy at times will start to do funny things in the secret. The parents will be liable, while they too behave liable too. So for a man, minimally, have a job that can sustain you to a level, accommodation, and things like that. Then you start, for a man, of course, you know, the burden lies on you. You don't have to relax, keep on making efforts for Allah to assist you. Allah alam. Barakallahu feekum. Shukran. Brother Muhammad Al Yakin. Is he there? Or Hafiz Akani? Okay, good. Go ahead. Okay, brother Akani Hafiz.
No, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Go on.
Now, my question is in 2 parts. One has to do with the lecture in a way, and the other one doesn't. So based on the first one, now what would your advice be to a sister who already, at least we have many of them that as a child and are still looking for brothers and stuff like that? How should they go about it? And especially in the world where it's not always easy to, Mr. Valentine, where it's not always easy to see spouses like that, and you know, so the question is, how should someone like that go about it? And the second part is not on the question. Let's say, for example, we have people with that have mental disabilities, right? Or mental disabilities that cannot easily choose things by themselves. They cannot accept they have people make choices for them. What is the ruling based on they are not being a Muslim, you know, in this life and the year after? So that's the question.
The first thing that's talking about widow. Again, a lady has a child and wants to remarry. It's a challenge of the Ummah today. It's a big challenge for the Ummah, and I think it's a social problem, communal problem. So I think it's a matter of broadening our scope of our Islamic understanding. And this, where Islam at times talks of polygyny, so it's one of the ways to resolve that very problem. Because most people don't have the real Aqidah, and he has not married before, he will feel that, why should I go and marry one has married before with a child? No. Our mother, Prophet was the model. The first wife was Khadijah, who was giving birth not just to one child, not even 3 or 4 children like that. So in that case, we'll only encourage the Ummah, enlightenment, training, people to be open that this thing they are, is going to be for don't beyond this very world. This is one angle to look at the issue, spiritual angle. Besides that, too, our ladies too need orientation that it can happen to anybody. It's a reality. Nobody will plan for it. You can get married today and husband died next 1 year or thereabout, and you have a little kid with you. I have cases like that. So in that situation, if is that is me and my husband is the scenario, if you are being the champion, the exponent or proponent of that, imagine it happens to you, 2 kids, one is just 2 years, one is just 4 years, and the husband dies, and you don't have good job. Probably some husbands say the wife should not work at all, and you don't have anything to do, and the family is not forthcoming. It's going to be a big issue for such a lady that she can become a kind of they can take advantage of her. So that one is, I think, the Ummah and brothers should just be bold and do it for the sake of Allah. They very capable. So the challenge at times, how would they, even the one I've married, I've not taken care of one, I'm more talking of the two. That's why your iman now comes to play. On the metal answer, it's very clear. In Islam, issue of aklu, the brain, is very important in every choice. When it comes to prayers, coming to fasting, coming to Hajj, they consider aklu and many factors. So where we see a person can decide on his own, is that the duty of the waliyul amr, the father or those in charge of the person, to guide, to assist in making the choice for the person. That's the simple way to go about it. From the chat box, somebody asked that at what age can one get married? Islam doesn't specify age at all. Islam only talks of when you are mature. Maturity is not maturation. When you are mature to handle yourself, to handle a woman, not just someone can be 15 years or can be 20 years, can be 25 years, still be a child. So it starts with maturity, a capacity to be emotionally balanced. So Islam does not specify age. Though talking of health or medical, whatever now, you can talk of factors for a woman. She should not be late in marriage because of many factors that affect women. So, but for a man, from the time he gets mature, is mature till 70, 80, is he marrying for a man. But for a woman, there's some level of, these days they come to menopause earlier than in the past. So in that case, she need to, if she does not marry on time, if she marries by 30, for example, and menopause is coming by around 20, 35 or thereabout, and after marriage, before they have the first child, about maybe 6, 7 years, then that's 3 plus 8 years. That means by 8 years, the menopause will have come and she will not have chance for that childbearing again. So it's a factor of reality and how one can cope with it. Allah Alam. Then, which advice do you have for a brother who has tried several times to get a Muslim lady to marry, but all to not have all his gods are these average Muslim ladies who do not? So I think that's one of the challenges of the woman today, where that's one should you must belong somewhere. That's my own position. Forget also like Jama. Like Jama is a big problem. So belong somewhere. We have several Muslim professional bodies, organizations today. You will get your spec if you belong to the right place. So nobody is perfect. Somebody can be a liberal Muslim today, can be something better tomorrow. So you get your spec. At times you don't belong anywhere. You may not easily get the kind of person you want. But so far they are still Muslims. You can be prayerful to Allah. Then you start somewhere, and with your little efforts, training and sermonizing and the likes, maybe be lucky that she will just toil the way you want her to go. Allah Alam about that. What should you do when someone wants to marry you, and the person's deen is okay and good, akida, but you don't really like the person? There's no part 2. The issue of marriage must come from your mind. It's a choice that this person, I don't like him. So if you don't like the person, no matter the akida, if you marry him by force or you marry him just to manage him or marry him because people are saying, when you get to the house, problem will start again. So in the center of Islam, we see cases whereby people, look at the case of Zainab bin Jash and Zaid. Eventually, they separated because Zainab's family background was there and Zaid was a different background. So if your mind is not there, you should be careful of going ahead. I have a question. Can a sister wait for a brother who has proposed to her, but he isn't? Okay, what's the question again? Okay. Who has proposed to her, but he isn't? Okay. Proposed to her, but he isn't financially capable of doing the nikah, but the sister mother is aware of it. My advice is that may Allah help us a lot. You know, we are becoming parents these days. Some of us are becoming parents. We should not start to make things easier for those who want to get married. You know, so but the irony is that those of us who are not becoming parents now, we are ourselves problems because we're not facing realities. Reality in our own environment is economic reality. We have to look at that. So in a case where a brother is not a financial base to start, some just to start, when they start, they can get better. Where the parent can come in to assist, that's where we have to wear our thinking cap. So that's what I can advise there. But if the waiting should be relative because like proposal and khitbah, the journey is better it is short than to be long. If it's very long, that's several implications. If it's very short, few months, 3 months, 1 month, but it's not becoming 2, 3 years, then other thing can follow and it will be very dangerous. So I advise that the parents could be approached where they can assist, they should assist such people. What should you do when a brother wants you to promise that you marry him in the future and you are not ready to? That kind of promise is not valid. You don't have to make a promise when you don't even know tomorrow. So when he said in your balance that when you're ready, I'm ready. So what you don't want to buy, you don't start to smell it. So when you are ready, you go for it. You don't just want to pin somebody down. Who says she's going to be your person? So don't pin somebody down because you feel that it must be for you. So that kind of promise, don't fall for it. So that if someone has to swear at times, why must you swear on such a thing? It's a thing of choice. So if you are there in the future, for example, now maybe you're even ready, it's not ready. So now because it's not ready, go and be committing haram. It's not a good way to go about it. Marriage is about readiness and other things. Please, what if you have seen someone? You have seen someone you like, but due to one or two reasons, he isn't ready for that shows. He isn't ready. What should someone do after that very one? How many times should istikhara? Istikhara is just once. If you do it many times, no problem. You do istikhara in the morning, you marry, you get it, so you do your choice in the afternoon. There's no crime with that. That was the set of istikhara does not say that you see anything, does nothing will happen. How long should this khitbah period last? Khitbah should not be distant, should not be too far. So there's no specific, specific time for it. After khitbah, then next 1 week, next week. No. In a organized environment, you can just do the khitbah and the whole thing can happen within a week. It's not a crime. So far, these factors are clear that the kifah, compatibility, everything like that are considered and things are going well. So Allah. Can a Muslim propose marriage to a lady, but is not really ready for marriage that time? Doesn't want to use the guilt. No, that's I've been answered. It's not good. When you're ready, go for it. What's marriage contract? What is consummate? Marriage contract is Abdu Nikah. Khitbah is proposal that you have a feeling that you love a girl, you propose to her, you talk to her that you want to marry her through the parent, like you have mentioned. Now, that has been done. The next thing is Abdu Nikah. Abdu Nikah is that the father now to give a consent that you can marry his daughter. Then the clear, terms stated. That is the marriage, what they call akudu nikah. Consummation is akudu, the nikah itself is when the husband now have intercourse with his wife. So now there are two things here. There could be, walima is a different thing entirely. But when you consummate marriage is when you and your wife enter the room and enjoy yourself after the akudu, which is valid. Walima can follow or come when you are doing the akudu too. Is it improper for a sister to express her sincere feelings to marry a brother as first wife or otherwise? It's not haram in the deen. It's not haram at all. It's not when you want to protect your emotion. In case you love a brother dearly and you express your sincere intention and is not willing to marry you, you must chalk. You have to be careful how you embrace that kind of chalk. That's the only thing that. And again, brother, who sister come to like that, they want to marry them. You should be big-hearted to, if you don't want to marry her, you should have a way of letting her go than to just be too blunt and make her a kind of a laughing stock. It's not good. So one should have a way of managing such, because it can be so at times emotionally disturbing. So it has to be managed when we have a communal situation. Then can we marry someone who has had zina and seek Allah's forgiveness? That only the judgment is left to Allah. So far I know Islamic state to punish them. So though the Quran says so that's explanation. So how many men can you know have not committed zina before? You can't know. But in the case of the woman, we may say that because she lost the hymen, but that one is not every woman that lost the hymen that were committed to zina before. So that one is a function, leave her to our God, which has even the diarrhea period. Many factors can make one to have committed zina. It's not your own problem that she has committed zina. You see, it does not affect what you want to do. So it's about her own life. Maybe as she has repented to Allah, she is trying to please her Lord. Don't take her back to Jahiliyyah. You move on and let things the Al-Qiyamah decide who goes where. So tell by him that he or she has engaged in zina before. When you get married, you don't need to start telling stories of I was doing zina before and the likes. If men should not be asking that kind of questions, it could be disturbing at times. Some girls were raped. Some girls, some errors happened. Maybe she was doing at home and the man just entered, took advantage of her, and she could not even tell anybody. She was afraid to tell people. Factors that can cause it. Some could have just been resolved fled. Maybe due to the environment they were living, the school they attended, and by the time they realized it was late. So we just need to be merciful and move on with life. So as she has repented, let's leave it to Allah. So we don't have the dawla of Islam to punish people. We don't have cause to be blaming them for what they have done in the past. You can marry them and you move on with your life. Then if a lady fell in love with a brother, how can she explain her feelings to him? We have everyone too can go. I would have preferred she go to somebody who can present to the man in a matured way. You will have known felt his pulse. Oh, maybe he's looking somewhere. God, love has one thing. You are looking somewhere else, somebody is looking at you. Just imagine you are looking somewhere else, somebody is looking at you too. So when difference, at variance, it can be a big, very big issue. So I will advise go to a second, third party who will not feel the pulse in a way they will just know if he's now having interest, they cannot move on, and probably cannot see you can meet him or something like that. Allah Alam. So also, what is the ruling on couple that get married without doing akdu and the wife have gotten pregnant? The rule is very straightforward. The couple who get married without doing akdu, they should go and do the akdu. They have to do the akdu because there's nothing like married without akdu. Akdu is the marriage, so they have not done anything. That's the meaning. So they should go and do the akdu. That means they have committed zina in a way. Unless it's known, they should have known because time is about knowledge. So they should just do repent to Allah, do the akdu. Which has been pregnant before akdu. The verdict of Islam is that they call waladu zina because any child outside wedlock is zina, and the law is this: the child is not blameworthy at all, but it's waladu zina, child, a kind of bastard. So the child has no sin, can grow to become a great person in the deen. So I think that's one. Just to do the akdu will not validate the pregnancy. The pregnancy is, in fact, in the Sharia, the mother is the owner of the child. Because that's what the man cannot even claim the child because he did not do the right thing before the child. But today, in society, may Allah just assist us. What are the ruling? What are the things that make akdu fight? We've mentioned them. The waliji must give clear consent. The lady, a marriage must be clear. Either she collects immediately, during or after. Then the shahid adilay, the two witnesses. If those three things are there, the car is valid. Walima is just secondary. You have the means. How can one manage a long distance courtship to get to know the partner better? Knowing the partner, we've said before, is all you can't know them through courtship per se. Just kind of the technology of the modern time, people just trying to use. So long courtship won't solve any problem. It can create more problem in the reality. So it's better we go through communal arrangements. Those who know people better, we have a kind of that kind of arrangement. Then through that very one, you can have somebody you want to marry. You don't have cause to waste time. Long courtship is not always the best. Can a man marry 2 wives in a day? It's his own choice because the factors there. So I have some people have done that before, but I have not seen anything that invalidates it. I said though the rulings are there, both are virgins, and they should have their honeymoon. The man, if you can leave the 2 of them agree and they can solve their problems, allow them. So the idea of having that you go for one and more. But whatever Islam has done is haram, you cannot call it a haram. Allahu alam. So what can be done to reduce the me and my husband syndrome that is making most married systems obstruct single sister from its orientation, enlightenment, guidance? And we as parents, we have to teach our children to love polygyny because it's part of orientation. Our environment today, a lot of things have to be, have to be corrected. May Allah assist us. Is it true that a bastard child cannot call the azan? Nothing like that. It can call the azan. It doesn't have any fault at all. It can call the azan. It can lead prayer too. It's not at fault in any way. It was not his own fault. Fault of the parent, except that some leadership position at times must be careful. Even though this, if they know the serum of that kind of child, it can affect him psychologically too. Maybe he becomes the imam in a big mosque, and that one now say, you two yourself now, maybe something happens, an issue in the mosque, and they just want to turn into issue. You two, I better sit down. We know how you were born. No, that can give you a problem. So I think that's just the only thing there. What's the ruling on arranged marriage, sir? Arranged marriage, I understand the questions. I don't really get the meaning of arranged marriage. You can really explain your question, sir. Can a guy do Abdul Nikah with the wife but still plead for her to still stay with her parents? It's their own arrangement. It's not the best, but if that's the arrangement you want to have, maybe it's abroad, it's in school, and she's saved, and that one is that's her own personal social arrangement. So that doesn't could be maybe if Islamically against that, but that's one angle there. But it's not the ideal. But at times circumstances may warrant that happens temporarily. It's not a permanent solution. What do you do when a brother approaches you already? Every single thing click already, except that parent acceptance is an issue because the parents happens to be from Kogi, and you're also insisting that you cannot marry any. These are some of the things that we need to, over time, orientation will help us. So that kind of situation now, you enlighten, you appeal, you send people to them to help you talk to them. If they eventually refuse completely, then you may have to let it go and look for another person, because the parents are very important in marriage. So, but the factor they are harming on is not fundamental in Islamic fiqh. But Islam doesn't want to break family ties. So far, you can still walk around it. Fine, you can walk around it. The issue at times, you can still get somebody better than the person you have mentioned. Allahu Alam. Then, can a twin, can he marry? Is your cousin? Yes, your cousin is your mahram. Your cousin is not your mahram. It's marriageable too. You can marry your cousin based on some provisions there. Can a man marry twins together at a time as wife and co-wives? No, you can't marry twins. They are from this. It depends if it's different twins. The twins from the male side, they are both twins here. Two twins can marry, but not that you marry two sisters. The law does not allow you to marry two sisters of the same parent together. So that will prohibit you to marry two twins. But if we have twin A, maybe they are brothers from a different parent, twin girls from another parent, that one is no problem at all. But these twin sisters, it's haram. What is it called? Instructor Isaiah verse 23. Go and check that one very well. You can't marry two sisters together. It's not allowed in Islam. Then please, can the audio of this lecture be done, please? Okay, if it's, I think it should be on the YouTube too. I can't say for now. If it's there, then you get it later, inshallah. What is the best way to break? What is the best way? Okay. What is the best way? There's the opinion on the issue of marriage that the sunnah is for going. Please, sir, can we have access to later, inshallah? So I think the program, inshallah, will be coming to an end in the next 1 or 2 minutes, inshallah. So I think the questions, we may not be able to answer everything. Maybe the last one we're taking now, we are sorry, we can't take everything continuously. The time is fast spent. So there is this opinion, this last question, inshallah, please, for tonight. This opinion on the issue of marriage, that the sunnah is for the man to give the lady whatever he has, and not the lady demanding. No. Yes, the woman will make the demand to her consent, not just the man giving what he likes. The man can just give Byro, that's your dowry. So it's a choice from the fiqh and friends. So on this note, I want to thank all of us for coming. May Allah reward us abundantly, forgive our shortcomings, and guide us aright. So for the questions we can't answer now, another time, inshallah, we see how we can be of assistance. So may Allah bless the few things we have had. For Allah's sake, these things we are talking about is just for us to improve our social life as Muslims, to live culturally as Muslims, not just as Muslim by name. So that's how we can make a change in our society. May Allah bless every one of us. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.